Here today to show and tell you the best I can about what I saw this past Saturday night when I did a remote viewing through the mirrors with the energy at Nancy Guthrie's. I want to thank you also for being there for me and sending me a lot of love and energy that was trying. And I will do it again sometime, not soon. It took me a day yesterday to recover. I didn't read, I didn't do anything. I just wanted to collect my thoughts, spend some time with my son, and here we are today, Monday. So let's get started. I'm going to draw this out as best I can, but I've got more whiskers. One fell on the paper, that's good. And that is a blessing for all of you. There we are. You see there they are, you can see them. All right. Putting the hand of fate over here. Today is day 100, I believe. You'll tell me if I'm wrong. I know you will. Of the Nancy Guthrie case. And when I put the new tier of memberships in place, I will be putting these for my channel in the new membership, in the new crime lab that I will be having for your membership. So you can look at some of these. I can't put all of them in there with some of my personal information, but I will put as many as I can, and you can read them, go over them, take a look. I'll put a lot of pages from the Big Book of Bull, all those things. So here we are. So the first thing through the meditation, because this was through mirrors, this was seriously like a portal, okay? And it's an energy portal. This was my mirror that I was using. It was on a little base. But I was trying to look through her bathroom windows, or I'm sorry, not window, mirror, so I could see. When you're doing something like that, you see what you are supposed to see. You see what you're given permission to see. I know many were put out a little bit. You know, of course you didn't see any faces. Of course you didn't see what make the watch was. Well, I was several feet away from those people. Seeing a watch, how could I tell what it was? So we're going to get real here. And I'm going to tell you what I did see. I'm going to draw it out as best I can. When I do this, when I remote view, it runs like a movie, but it is in short clips. It may be this room right here for 30 seconds, this room right here for 30 seconds, this scene. That's how it runs. It's not like a little Disney film where you can just sit there and see the whole plot thicken and everything else. Sometimes there's dual clips that you can see things going on at the same time. Now, when I was asking where's Nancy, it was showing me something else. It wasn't that Nancy was lost or not there or not around, because I could feel her. But as much as I wanted to see what was going on, I also wanted to look at her. And I could only see one scene at a time. And that's why I kept saying, show me, show me, show me, because I was asking the energy. I also want to make it clear, I'm not a medium. I don't want to be a medium. I'll let that for those people who want that. The reason being is because I read the energy. I learned a long time ago that spirits, entities can mislead you into believing people are who you are. And yes, many say, oh no, I have a way of saying, okay, that's great. Just want you to know, this was an energy reading. It was not medium. I don't call in entities and spirits because they lie. Energy doesn't lie. So when I was looking through this, the first thing that I saw, and I'm going to draw this out, we'll take as many pages as we need. I was over here in this area. I'm going to call this the bathroom. I was looking through. Now, In this particular case, you can look through walls, you can look through doors because it's not material at that point. I know it sounds odd, but I'm looking through and there is Nancy's bed. Here is the headboard. Here's a pillow. Here is the footboard. And here is a door. We'll just put the door here. Sorry about this. I know it's, so this is my line of sight. Let me see if I can make that a little darker for all of you. This is the bed and the pillow. This is the door right here. So this is where I am looking through Miss Nancy at this first part. Number one, the first part, she's laying here. Bless her heart. There's little legs, little feet. There's Mrs. Guthrie. Okay, she's laying here. She's laying on the bed. That was the first part of this. I was also trying to find clocks and watches, and none were available to see. So just remember, I'm looking at things that had happened in past tense from the perspective of the energy of the house. This is what the house perceived the energy to be. That's what I asked for. That's what I got. So now a person comes in. He has a mask on, and it's like the ski mask. Here he is looking at Nancy. She raises up. Okay? And she looks bewildered. But she looks as though, because think about this, you come out of a sleep, and the last memory was, perhaps you saw what you feel is your family. And then the next thing you know, somebody visits again. And she almost looked as though she recognized the person. And then the reality showered down over her. And she had a horrible scare. She did not have glasses on when this happened. And I'm wondering if that was part of it as well. So at this point, that's the first, this is the second part of this. Okay, there it is. The second part. First part, she's laying down. Second part, she's up. Third part is, and I'm going to, let me see. I'm running out of room here. Here is the bed. This is the third part. Remember, I'm still looking this way, but I'm just run out of room. Pillow. Now, Mrs. Guthrie is sitting here on the side of the bed, closer to the foot of the bed. This person is here. He's got a mask on. There's another person that comes into the room. He's got a mask on. Can't see. You see, people are like, well, why do they wear masks? Well, first of all, if you're going to be taking someone away from their home, what if they got loose? Now, under the circumstances of Mrs. Guthrie, that would have been hard. She's 84, coming out of a sleep. What if, right? I mean, you have to think that they have to account for these things. If she could identify any one of them, game over for them. So they have to take precautions, all right? So that's the first thing. So that's scene number 3. Now, there's the mirror here. So I'm going to be working around this because I don't want to waste. Oh, I don't care. Let's go this way. All right, here we are. So now, here's the next scene. Here is Nancy's bed. This is the 4th scene. Pillow. Now she's sitting here. And now she's got, it looks like a top on. She's half dressed, and it looks like she still has a nightgown on. Okay? But she was half dressed at this point. There's a man standing here. I'm going to tell you, I did not see anything bad happen. Okay? I did not see that. And that is Bilbo. He has one of his little toys he wants to play. Give me a second. He has a little Christmas sock. One of those little furry ones. A little one. They get their little presents in it on Christmas. It's his favorite. And he carries that around. And he just has to announce it. Thank you. All right. So now at this point, that's the fourth scene. The next scene is we are in a different room, and I'm going to say like a living room. Here is the front door here in this location. All right. This is going to a back door, from what I gather, because it was hard to see. Now we have 3 people. 2 are on one side. This is one person. This is another. They still have masks on. Now, there is a woman. She's small. One moment, please. I can sit here all day. Nobody says a word until I get... Okay, all right. You know that. You know that's how it is. And it's okay. All right. Now there's a woman. How do I tell she is a woman? Well, she has a mask on. Hair is in a ponytail in the back. Now, part of the hair was underneath the collar. And some of it was out. You can tell this was a rush job, okay? These 2 guys are arguing. I could not hear what they were saying, except audible noises, as in louder, blah, blah, blah. Just like when this one was talking to Mrs. Guthrie, it was loud. Okay? That's how it goes. Now, I'm going to do it this way because I was looking in the mirror. And I'm just going to say, this is me. Oh, don't I look great? All right, here we are. This is me. This is me. This is the back of me. Okay? Wow. Zelda. All right. So this is the back of me. I want to make that clear because I want you to see what I saw. All of a sudden, one came swooping up and looked at himself in the mirror. He did not see me. All right? He did not see me. And this does not put me in danger because this was passed through energy. He did not know I was there. I questioned it for a second. But then when I thought about it, and I thought about this yesterday, it's almost as though he were standing there. And you know that part because it startled me because it happened fast. It's like he came in and just like was right up there into my face. He didn't recognize me. He didn't see me. But it's almost as though he knew, he understood. He understood what was happening. And it was though he was looking at himself thinking, what am I doing? Where am I? Why am I here? Can I go through with this? I felt that emotion very quickly, not like it was not regret, but he was questioning himself. That's a good thing. He was questioning himself. Now, when they were looking through things, they were not looking for money. You know, you can tell when somebody looks for money because they are looking in smaller things like jewelry boxes. When they were going through the drawers, it was, this one guy was just stirring drawer, looking, opening up, haphazard looking. I'm wondering if he was looking for another camera or a device or something like that. Something that could have or would have recorded. Now, I want to go back to this scene. They were going back and forth, walking back and forth. This chick was kept following behind this guy. They all pretty much looked alike because they were dressed very similarly. She had on what looked like a tracksuit and some tennis shoes. They didn't, but one of them, I'm pretty sure, had a jacket on. Let me see if I can draw the jacket. That had cuffs. And there was a stripe down each arm, down the front where there was a zipper, and a collar that kind of stood up. There were pockets here and here. And that's what one of them had on. The other one was plain, just like this one. Probably a black suit. Probably. But I'm going to tell you this, okay? For me, none of this, anytime I am remote or anytime I am invited in, just like with John O'Keefe invited me, the energy, I don't see in color. I see black and white. Think of one of those old noir movies from the 40s and 30s. That's kind of how it looked. And they were shades. But I'm also going to tell you another thing. It was almost like a vignette. You know what a vignette is. It's like soft. The camera is soft around the edges. There wasn't any fog, but it was soft, and you could tell there was flow. There was a wave. So you could tell this is what the house was feeling. Now, what were the emotions in this? Because this was, I'm going to label this the fifth scene. Here, the emotions during this time. Panic, anxiety, upset, anger, loss of temper. That's different for me than anger. Anger, you can still hold it together. Loss of temper for me, it's when somebody has what they call now a crash out, but it's a blow up. You lose control. You yell and yelling. Now, in the living room. Next scene. Here is a chair. I don't know if I'm not drawing correctly, I know, but give me a break here. This is a chair. Now, this is the back of the chair. Kind of. Or seeing kind of to the side. In this chair, I think there was a little skirt on it. I don't remember. But in this chair was Mrs. Guthrie. She had her hand like this, down over the side of the chair, and I could see her feet and her legs. There was no movement. Now, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a lawyer, and this is for your entertainment, because what else would it be for? She had no movement. And that's added to the scene over here, which led me to believe that this did not turn out the way they thought that it should. My understanding from the energy of these people is that this was not a robbery. They were there, they were contracted. They did not have to look for money because they would have been paid. Their jobs were that they would receive money. All they had to do was deliver Mrs. Guthrie to a particular location, drop her off, say thanks for the memory, hold out their little paws, get the money, and that would be the end of the story. They walk away. But the fact that she just was there and looked like she wasn't moving, panic, anxiety, and you could hear them in my mind's eye say, what do we do? That was the energy that was giving from these people. Now, in order to get paid, they had to deliver Nancy. Many people are like, well, why don't you just leave her? Well, you know what? The reality is they could have. They probably wouldn't have known that anybody came in the house, upset the apple cart, got her out of bed, caused muck, mire, and maybe no one would have known. They would have gone in the house, they would have seen Nancy sitting in the chair. But if you do that, you don't get paid. So the next scene now. Someone has Nancy. Now, this was a blur, but I'm going to do the best I can. Front door. Holding Nancy somehow. She had a little nightgown on there. She was dressed, had her little top. And this is, the first thing that comes to mind is Bungle in the Jungle. Now, aside from being Jethro Tull, I don't even know. Anyway, aside from that, I'm trying to describe, think of the adrenaline being so high, you know you got to do something. Someone comes to the front door, they They give the signal to the camera that it's all clear. Somebody tries to bring her out. They get out through the front. I'm going to say, could she have hit the side of the door and started to? That is the question. I didn't see it, but I wonder that. This person who was outside on the front hears something. There's an ear, right? He's hearing, he's looking, he's wondering. And he basically says, oh gosh, this is risky. What if one of the neighbors, even though it's dark, it's a full moon. The place was lit up pretty brightly comparative to what it usually would be. So then they're making a lot of noise. And they go back. Now, think about that neighbor behind the house. Remember when he said the dog? I don't know the timing on that. But the doggy was barking. And something was, so it was either a coyote or a dog. So this guy turns around with Nancy. And Bilbo. Hold on. Oh, just as I turn the camera on. Okay. He turns around and comes back into the front. At this point, the chick is in the mixture now. So he's turned around now. He still has a mask on. He's turned around now, and now they've got her, it looked like wrapped. It was not a sheet, more like a big beach towel. And he's going quickly out toward the back. So is the chick now who is following him. Try to stay with me here because I'm not, So he's turned around now, going this way, and there's the chick behind him following. I would say she's probably about 5'6" or 5'7". The men were taller, but I do not believe that either one of them were over 6 foot. Probably 5'10"-ish, 5'9"-ish. Going this way. Now, they take Nancy out. Now, there are some scenes that I've left out on purpose, but I'm going to talk to you about those now. And that was the one where this guy came in to the bathroom, looked. He went over here and used the potty box, right? He used it once. There's the little handle. At that point, amazing, I can draw a toilet, but I can't draw. Okay, so he used it one time at that time. There's DNA, but he did not wash his hands. Now, as gross as that may be, that's good when you're looking for DNA. Because now you have body fluid, and you have other things, and you have whatever else, because I did not see a glove on his one hand. And even if there was, now, when he went out, and I saw him, he raised, let me draw him over here. I'll draw him a little bigger so you can see. Here's his mask. Now he raised his mask up over his mouth at one point to talk. That looks like something off of, remember Fat Albert cartoon? That kind of looks like, Luke, you are my, okay, anyway. So this is him now. Did he have facial hair? It looked like a little bit. But not a lot, but a little bit. Okay. The other scene in the kitchen. One of them is looking in the refrigerator. I'm going to draw a refrigerator like this. Oh no, we'll do it like, okay, well that's the refrigerator. This is the fridge. So there's someone in the kitchen, not with Dinah, but looking for other. He opened up the refrigerator. Then he turned over this way. And he opened up cabinets as though he was looking for something to either eat. He did touch some things. Then on the cabinet before, or on the countertop before they left, he had a glass. And he ended up taking that glass with him. Now, why would he do that? Well, he probably figured out at that time that was dumb crook. That was a dumb crook move. So he took it with him. Now, as they are leaving with Miss Nancy, she's already out of the house. The back door is open. I'm just going to say there's a lot more to see. I saw what I was allowed to see, but there's a lot more to see. Nancy did not look healthy. Let me say that. And it's unfortunate, and I pray I'm wrong. So now they're going outside. They've gone outside. One fellow comes back in. And he's looking through cabinets. He's looking through cupboards. And finally finds a spray bottle. A spray bottle that looks like, you know the kind. And it's got the trigger here. And then it was like this. Now, I did not see him use it. He got it and rushed right back out. I did not see him use it in the house, in the back door. I didn't see any of those things. My idea was that he probably was using it in whatever vehicle. When they pulled out of the drive, because remember, it's going quickly and skipping. Listen, I'm not a drone. I could not look down on the house inside and watch every move they were making because I did not have that permission. I asked for permission from the house. The house showed me the pertinent things, and I believe what the house showed me was where evidence would be. And if they would look in the living room at a chair, if they would look for any other type of glass in the refrigerator, and I'm also going to go this far and say, if anyone is listening from that law enforcement, I want you to check vacuum cleaners, the vacuum cleaner from Nancy's house. Does she have a hand vac? Does she have a mop? What about rags? What about a bucket? Also, I want you to check vacuum cleaners from anyone else that could have been in that house. Hand vac, vacuum cleaners, even a steamer. But you know, there's one thing, and I don't know, I think Mrs. Guthrie, of course, had linoleum in the house. I don't know if she had carpet. I could not tell. But if you're on linoleum or hardwood, you can actually lay down on the floor, put your cheek on the one side, and you can look across the floor and see every footprint known to man that have come into your floor. If you have carpeting, you sometimes can tell that as well. Now, if she had a bed skirt, because I know that she was one who loved to make her bed and so forth, if she had a bed skirt, I would be checking the bottom of that bed skirt. Because whoever stepped up and walked up to her bed, that bed skirt could have touched the top of a shoe, and that top of the shoe could have had a hair. It could have had anything else on it. Now, this is Mrs. Guthrie's. This is the top. This is the roof of her home. This is the street. Okay? And this is her driveway. This is her garage. And this was her backyard, and there was a gate here. Right here. Coming out here. And there was a vehicle here. Backed in. Sorry, I know. That's the vehicle. Now, when they went out, they did not go this way. They went this way. And that was it. Believe me, my darlings, this has rolled through my, oh my heck. Now we have Shaggy. This has rolled through my mind, and you can tell the energy here. Let me ask him what he needs, please. Okay. So, I wish I had more. I wish I could see more. I wish I could have more. I don't. I wish I did. But I think this is enough. And I don't really want to see, that's hard to take. Especially this. So I'm going to say, even look in one's laundry basket, and I'm sure they have, check the dryer lint catchers, check everything, check vacuums. Because see, people who do this sort of thing, they think, well, if I'm just going to go in and I'm going to do this, I'm going to clean up a crime scene, or I'm going to put a crime scene together. They don't think that their vacuum cleaners can be confiscated and things can be taken out of their vacuum cleaners. These people looked like they knew the floor plan of Nancy's house. Now again, I'm not accusing anyone. I don't have that right. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a doctor. But what I will tell you is that I'm even more suspicious now than I ever have been. I believe that the back door being propped open doesn't make sense because there is no sense to it. I believe that it was perhaps made to look a certain way because someone going, someone going out and then coming back in. I always wondered because there was approximately a 41-minute gap, is what they say in the timeline. It wouldn't surprise me after seeing what I saw, because quite frankly, this scene right here was a complete mad scramble. I believe there were too many things put in place too well. I believe the timing was the way it was supposed to be because it was supposed to be that way. The ultimate end for this hired group of individuals that took her, of course, was money. But I also believe there is a head cheese who had another agenda. And that other agenda was to send the message. And I'm going to say at this point, message received. I'm going to get some cards out. I'm going to post this on both True Oracle, since we broadcast from True Oracle as well. So for both channels, I want to thank you so much for being here. Please do me a favor, like and subscribe on True Oracle. We are this close to 20,000 subscribers. It would mean a lot if you could do that. Hang tight. I'll be back with the cards. Here we are back again. We have the House of Zelda deck, another House of Zelda deck, which is the Cartomancy, and then we have the What Lies Beneath. Let's get started. I know there was more. Tell us what was missed during this viewing. Overlooked evidence. We don't have to be a psychic nor a rocket scientist to figure that one out. Overlooked evidence, that's number one. What have we overlooked? The fact that someone felt that they were worth money and there was a lump sum of money coming. I don't believe we overlooked that, but I think the reason it came up is because it is supposed to, it's a main focus, and it's confirming, it's helping us to remember what this really is. What did we miss? What did we miss? What else was there? See how that guy came out? Uh-oh. Sorry. Watching the Shisela go down. It's exactly what it is. And I think we're going to start seeing more. We're not going to be enjoying the gossip, but I believe we are going to be enjoying the fact that there's more information that's going to be coming out. We're going to cover that. I can't help it. Okay. Love is behind this. Now, obviously, not for Nancy, but I do believe that was a couple that was involved. And I believe that that was a collaboration between the couple and someone else. The head cheese. Now I know somewhere, well, wait a minute, what about the island? Yes, yes, he can be the head cheese. That part of things can be the head cheese. This is not totally out of boredom, but it is out of believing that there's not anything more ahead for someone. You know, when people get desperate and they start thinking that what else is there? I need this. I need money. I need this to be able to continue on. Well, they may have received the money, but they've not been able to use it because people around them are being watched like a hawk. And if anybody comes up with any other little monies that normally they wouldn't have, hello, where did you get that money? We're watching you like an absolute hawk. I've known people that has that happen to them. And that's not a fun trip to go down. Depression. Watch people who are close to, who are around Nancy. Watch who they are. Watch about them. Watch what they do. Watch them. Watch them. You're going to see something similar to the 5 stages of grief. But it's not grief. It's the 5 stages of guilt. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about it. I'm going to tell you, I believe all of these people have been abandoned. In fact, the one person that looked in the mirror that I saw, his energy does not look like it's still here on Earth. The couple, they've been abandoned. There's no help that's going to come to them. If something happens and the perpetual starts hitting the fan, as we say it's going down, well, ain't nobody going to come and save them. It's every man for himself. You chose to do this. You chose to do it for the money. Whether Nancy was a stranger, friend, acquaintance, or family, you're on your own. That is the card of death. This is also a winter timing card, which this took place in the winter. It's a card of loss, legal problems, uncertainty. This came from the tarot. This is equivalent to the death card. Someday, let me know in the comments, do you want me to tell you all about the Ace of Spades? There is a big history around the ace, going back to medieval times, clear up until now. But it's not a good card and not a good look. Do you think they burned evidence? I do. Do you think that whomever tried to get rid of it? Oh, yes, absolutely. I'm convinced, and you won't convince me otherwise. That's what I'm saying. Check vacuum cleaners. Check cleaning. Check bottles. Check the sinks. Yes. But see, that's what you do before a crime scene is ruined. Could it still be ruined? Well, I've known crime scenes that you can, as much as it's been cleaned, unless you have a professional cleaner in that particular area come in, and even so, you can get still DNA in a place, even years later. Let's see what's up on the bottom of the deck. Look harder. Absolutely. That's the message in all this. Look harder, because it's right in front of you. Agent Oobligada. It's right in front of you. If you're watching, it's right in front of you. But you probably already know that. That is a separation. It's a separation of perhaps a couple, but also it can be a separation into a collaboration, which could be that couple, which could also be the separation of that third person, who I do not believe is here any longer. Caught. I believe they're going to find some evidence. Do I believe it's DNA? It could. I'm going to say there's going to be something sus about the DNA, but this week they're going to come up with something more. Be prepared. And it's we get the little dribbles and the drabs. Now, the sheriff, so as it is, says that he feels that they're close. Okay. But look for signs. Look for those signs. Depression, walking different, changing in appearance, changing attitude, changing living arrangements, just changing your normal everyday life. In the meantime, there was a message from Savannah, and I'm so sorry. Mother's Day, I thought of Mrs. Guthrie so much. And Savannah Guthrie is going to be going on to host, I believe it's some type of Wordle game show with Jimmy Fallon. I'm not sure. You have to look that up. Life goes on. Thank you so much for being here. Please do me a favor, like and subscribe. We're going to do this again. Hang tight. This is going to be a week, and I will definitely be seeing each and every one of you very, very soon. Find Nancy. Bye for now. And arrest him. You know who I mean.